Hey guys, happy Monday. It is March 6th, 2023. Hope everyone's doing well. Hello, hello, hello. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about a book review called Designing Your Work Life. And the reason why it's like this is because I got it from the local library. Okay, the library is a great resource for some amazing books. I always check the library first, see if they have the book I want before I purchase it. Number one, to save money, and also to support my community and everything like that. So definitely, this book was recommended to me, and I've been if you guys have been following the channel, I've been on a reading spurt recently, where I found out the crazy statistic: if you read just 30 minutes a day, you're 90% more likely to double your income. Okay, so think about that. It really got me into reading, and I've made a whole host of videos on this stuff as well. And I'm going through this kind of this reading spurt that I'm probably going to continue the rest of my life. But today we're going to be talking about designing your work life. So originally I was looking for Design Your Life. Great book. It was made a few years ago. The authors really take a designer operations or kind of an engineering approach to how you should approach your life and your daily actions, as well as, in this case, is more career focused. And because I've been a recruiter for 10 to 15 years and career counselor, this really hits home for me. So really, really enjoyed that. So a lot of people now these days, we'll get right into it. 69% of people hate their job, which was a crazy statistic. 69% of people hate their job in the US. 85% of people globally hate their job. And they actually included a weird statistic that 93% of Japanese people really hate their job. And I know this because I lived in Japan for about 7 years. And Japan, a lot of people don't realize, has one of the highest suicide rates. And a lot of people in Japan will work 80 hours a week. 40 is paid, 40 hours is unpaid. They don't get any overtime or anything like that. Okay? It's pretty crazy. So the average person is working 80 hours a week. They only get paid for 40. And it's just because it's like that's what you got to do. You're part of the company. That's the culture it's kind of built. It's called salaryman, and it stands for salary man. It's just kind of their way of pronouncing it, salaryman. And Shigoto is job. So it's very interesting to hear about that. But anyway, people are unsatisfied with their work, and this book talks a lot about how you can start taking little steps and little approaches on getting better. Okay. So we're going to dive right into it with some tips, some mindsets they talk about, and they really focus a lot on reframing. You have to have an openness to reframe your current situation, as well as practice your storytelling skills. And if you guys have seen this channel, I'm really into sales and acquiring sales skill sets. And this is where, hey, if you understand storytelling, you understand sales as well. Okay? So let's talk about some of the mindsets that they talk to acquire. So number one is you've got to get curious, okay? I have a friend, he's a very, very wealthy venture capital guy. This was always his biggest thing. We haven't talked about him. I'm going to be seeing him actually next weekend. But he even talks about you have to get curious. You have to get curious. You have to want to explore. You have to want to learn. You have to be teachable. You have to want to learn different things. So first mindset, be curious. Second mindset is guess and test, experiment, trial and error. You have to try different things. You have to what's called prototyping. You have to prototype different approaches to new things. So definition of insanity is doing the same things long enough, expecting a different result. Same thing here. You have to, if you are not where you want to be in life or work, you have to start testing out little things that are going to see what changes are going to happen. Okay. Number 3, reframing. I talk about reframing your current situation. Okay. And one of the big key things is, like, a lot of people think my work sucks, my life sucks, my career sucks. They easily go to the outlet. And you have to start reframing that, like, hey, good enough. It's not perfect, but it's good enough right now. It's good enough for now. Okay? Doesn't mean like you're settling, but it also doesn't mean it's like woe is me and everything like that. So you have to start reframing your story and reframing your position on where you are, both in life and your career. So very significant. In the description, I'll include a few of great reframes that they had for your beliefs and your mindsets. And it's very key for even like law of attraction. You have to start reframing some of your beliefs. Okay. Another thing they talk about, the number 4 for mindset, is self-awareness. You have to be very self-aware. Self-awareness, self-honesty. It doesn't mean like, okay, I'm just accepting where I am. No, you should be happy where you are, focused on what you want, but don't lie to yourself. If a job's really like, oh my God, this is like, you shouldn't sugarcoat it. If it's really like the worst thing on earth, get out of there. But you need to have that self-awareness. Number 5 is radical collaboration. Okay, you should embrace teamwork. And this is interesting because in the last couple of years, we've really moved into a remote, type of career development. And now you see more people are beginning that hybrid approach. More tech companies are calling people back to the office. You're seeing, so you have to embrace teamwork. You can't always fly solo. There's occasions for each person, but you need to embrace radical collaboration. And then the number 6 mindset they talk about is storytelling, the ability to tell your story, tell your successes as well as the things that have been setbacks. And instead of saying they are failures, how can you reframe it to be like, hey, this is a learning experience and this is how I'm bouncing back on what I'm learning from it. So those are 6 mindsets to kind of take into consideration. So let's talk about, I'm wondering if should I talk about the tips first or should I go for the reframes? I'll talk about the tips. Okay, so the tips first. Some of the great tips that I got from the book, by the way, this is just a summary of the book. It's not everything. There's a lot of information. Here's all my notes, by the way. I know, on average per book, I write about 20 pages of notes. That's how many notes I do. If you guys have seen the channel, you guys know I'm a big note taker because I want to retain the information from the book. I got to return the book. So I want to know what's in the book so I can have those notes in my binder and it's part of my encyclopedia. Anyway, some good tips. Wherever you are, whatever job you have, you want to take an audit of where you are career-wise, okay? You have to take an audit on the job you have, your strengths and your weaknesses, as well as kind of like the job and the responsibilities and the tasks that you enjoy, right? What are the things that get you energized? What are the things that get you into flow state? What are some of the jobs that you have done in the past that have also given you the exact same, like, the excitement, flow state, I'm loving this, as well as maybe the ones that you're learning something, you're challenging yourself. It's good to have a job that you're either, you got to be growing in some way or form, whether that's your impact, the money, what you're learning, the skill set you're developing, things along that nature. So make an audit on your strengths and weaknesses, as well as in the job and past jobs, of tasks and responsibilities and things about it that you really enjoyed, as well as the things you didn't enjoy. Like, I hated that. So that's a really big point. You have to take an inventory of all those things. And I've done this many, many times. I do this pretty routinely, at least once a year, on what are the things that, is working, what is not working. Okay? For what is working, how can I expand on that? And what is not working, how can I either get rid of it? Is it effective in my job, or can I delegate it to somebody else? Or how can I, and this is really good in the book, how can I reframe it? How can I put a designer spin or an engineering approach to it to make it better? Okay? So start doing an inventory. The other thing they talk about is taking initiative. Okay? You have to take initiative in your work. A lot of people that get ahead in their careers are the ones that take initiative. They do things without anybody telling them or knowing that they do it. So you should look around your work and life and look for something once a week that you can take initiative of. And the best way is to help somebody else. How can you take initiative on helping a new employee, another team member, act of kindness somewhere, or your boss in general? How can you take more initiative, right? There's good quotes out there, some nuggets of gold. You want to give more, expect less. The secret to living is giving, okay? Now, the biggest thing is proactivity, goal setting. They talk about the minimum actionable problem, your MAP, basically. And a lot of this is just really action steps, small action steps that you can do daily to get to a desired outcome. So think of, in the next 3 months, a certain outcome career-wise that you want to attain. I want to either get a new job or promotion, or I want to redesign it in some way. And you can do this in other areas. It doesn't have to be always work. It could be life. I got a half Ironman coming up this summer, right? Which is really, it's easy for me to take action steps, but it's the same process. Think of an end result. Now you want to break it down. break it down monthly. Okay, what are some benchmarks, maybe 3 benchmarks for 3 months that will know I'm on the right track? Then you break down those weekly. And if you're doing 3 months, you could break this down into 12 weeks. What are the step-by-step things? What are the goalposts, the benchmarks? What can I get to that I know will get me to the end result? And then you break it down further on daily habits, right? So what do now I have to do daily? What do I have to do daily, weekly, monthly to get to the desired? Jeez, sorry, the dog scared me there. And so very, 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 very key. Okay, Sarge always barks. Anyway, I'm trying to train him. It's not easy because I got to get a lot of his old habits out, but that's why we're here. Replace old habits. So goal setting. You need to be doing that. So that's how you kind of rev up all these different things. Now, he talks a lot about the maker mix, which I really enjoy. This is one of my favorite things. 3 things for more satisfaction in your work: impact, money, self-expression. Now, this is going to be different for every single person out there, okay? It's going to be different for every single person. And also where you are in life. So let's break these down. Impact, money, self-expression. The 3 key things that are going to actually make you feel more fulfilled, satisfied in your career is how much of an impact are you having, right? We all want to feel like we're recognized and we're making a difference. How much money, right? Your level of money, monetary. And then also the about self-expression. Another way of doing that is like how happy you are. How much passion are you generating? And I'll give you a good example. We're all at 3. If you write those down, impact, money, self-expression, and labeled it 0 through 10, 10 being the highest, you can gauge on where you are right now. How much does it actually affect you? When I was in my 20s, I was a whitewater rafting instructor. I loved it. It's one of my favorite jobs ever. It did not pay barely anything. Okay, it's not known as like a high-paying job. It's a lifestyle job. And I had a lot of impact. You take people on vacation. I had a blast. But self-expression, I got to really be myself, both as like kind of an adventurer, outdoorsman, but a safety person, an instructor. Like I like to do all that, and I'm working out at the same time. It was awesome. Loved it. Doesn't make any money, right? Here's the thing. That was in my 20s. And now in my 30s, obviously I'm creating a family right now. Money is higher on this scale, and I want more certain quality of life. I'm still like not going to do it where it goes above self-expression, where my happiness. I'm not going to do something I hate. So, and also impact has gone up way, way, way more, where I want to benefit others. I want to leave people better than I found them. It's another principle of the book. So very, very key is knowing where you are on that mix, right? How much impact do you want to have? How much money do you want to make? How much self-expression? So, we're all different in that regards, and these will fluctuate from time to time based on your circumstances and where you are in life. And there's no right or wrong. It's where you are. So it's very important to understand that mix. The other thing they talk about is actually office politics in a lot of ways, where they talk about real influence, right? You need to understand, this is really more geared on career stuff. You need to understand who is the most influential in your company, but also who actually has the power, who are the key decision makers. There's a lot of people in workplaces that might have a lot of power, but zero influence. Like people might not respect them as much. Or the other way around, they might have tons of influence, but no power. They have no like hiring, firing power or promotional power. So you need to understand that. And this is where sales comes in. You need to understand sales. Sales is another way to, it's a good way of learning how to influence. And I mean it ethically. You don't influence negatively. You influence positively, and be able to, basically communicate a certain way. So understanding who also makes that has influence in your company and power in your company is, you need to kind of at least be aware of it. It doesn't mean you have to don't suck up or kiss ass, but you need to be aware on who key decision makers are in your company. Now, the reason why, and they talk about this, is your value. This is very interesting because it's like you need to always be demonstrating value. In the workplace these days, value is key. And honestly, I would say that kind of almost in all areas, relationships. I could go on and on about this because I have my own thoughts, but limited on time. So you want to make sure you're offering value. Now, Aries is large in the back. You want to make sure you're offering value. You have to be offering something different than what everybody else is offering in order to stand out in your company. But also, you have to be, did I write it down? Yeah, I thought I did. So the value has to be recorded. The people have to be aware that you're adding value consistently. And a lot of, when I do consulting sessions with people, I talk about you need to be keeping records of where the company is when you join versus down the road where you are right now, or when you join till now. And if you have demonstrated and it's been recorded that you've offered value in some way, might have been a new product design, it might have been you've increased sales by X amount, right? You need to keep records, okay? In your regular life and your love life, I do think you should be giving without wanting anything in return, okay? Just unconditionally. When it comes to career, when it comes to your job and your life, your livelihood is tied to it, you need to be constantly improving, adding value to the company or your business, but also it has to be recorded. So keep records. Easiest way, emails. Keep a record of emails on kind of like different things that you guys have talked about, income, sales numbers, things like that. Keep records, and it will pay off in the next thing. So before we leave, there's some great reframes in the book that I definitely recommend. It's more about just like how your mindset works and how you can reframe it a different way, right? Instead of saying like life sucks, it should be, hey, life ain't perfect, but it's good. And good is great for right now, okay? Be happy where you are. Know that you have all that you need. Another key thing, stop waiting for something or someone else to change. A lot of people in their current work, sorry, my nose itches a little bit. Everybody in their current work right now is always waiting for the other person or something to change, right? Change yourself first. That's what they talk about. Be the change that you want to see in the world, okay? Another thing is taking responsibility. You have to kind of start thinking to yourself, I got myself into this job. I got myself into this career. I'm taking responsibility for everything right now, and I can design my way out. I got myself in, I can get myself out. Right? I have the power to reframe and redesign any situation. Okay? And the last one is I am the creative designer of my life. So some great tips in there. Obviously, I don't know if I did it justice, but some great information. I'm going to include a second video that talks about how to quit your job effectively, which was a whole chapter of which I took diligent notes because I thought it was very, very good. And me being a recruiter and, career consultant really made me like, oh, this is good stuff. So I'll make a second video on that. If you guys want a free resume review, feel free to reach out. Happy to do that. I've been doing it. I did a few this weekend for certain people. Some of you have reached out for asking for a consulting session and mock interview, and we're going to be doing that pretty soon. And if you also want free resume templates, check out the link below. If you have any questions, try to answer as best I can. Feel free to send me an email. My contact information is below. You guys have a great rest of your day. Definitely check out the book, Designing Your Work Life. It's awesome. And I'll catch you guys later. It's going to be a great week. Cheers.